To get started, we'll run Gatsby new My Amplify Gatsby site to create a new Gatsby project. Next, we'll change into the Gatsby directory and run yarn add Gatsby Source GraphQL to install the Gatsby Source GraphQL plugin. You can also do this by running npm install Gatsby Source GraphQL. Next, we'll initialize a new Amplify project by running Amplify init. Here, we'll be prompted for the name of our project, the name of our environment, our default editor, the type of app that we're going to be building, as well as a few other questions. Next, we'll be prompted for an AWS profile. Choose yes and then click on the profile that you'd like to choose and press enter. If you've yet to set up an AWS profile, please run Amplify configure. After the Amplify project has been created, you should now see a new Amplify folder at the root of your directory. Next, we'll run Amplify add API to add the GraphQL API. We'll choose GraphQL as the type of API. We'll enter the API name as GOT API as we're creating a Game of Thrones API. For the authorization type, we can choose API key, and if we have an annotated GraphQL schema, we'll choose no. We'll choose yes to guided schema creation and choose single object with fields as the type of project that we're going to be creating. When prompted if we'd like to edit the schema, choose yes, and Amplify will open the schema in your text editor of choice. Next, we'll take the base schema and change the main type to character, and we'll add a new field called avatar that's set to a string. To create the backend, we'll then run Amplify push. Next, we'll be prompted if we'd like to have GraphQL code generation. If you want GraphQL code gen, choose yes and then follow the following steps. After the GraphQL API has been created, you'll be given a success message saying that all resources have been updated in the cloud. Next, we'll open the AppSync API in our account by running Amplify console API and choosing GraphQL. From the AppSync console, we'll go ahead and create a couple of mutations to add data into our database. We'll create a couple of create character mutations, giving the mutation a name, a description, and an avatar URL. Next, we'll query our database to make sure everything has been stored properly by running list characters query and returning an items array with an ID, a name, a description, and an avatar for every character in our array. Next, open the Gatsby site in your text editor. Next, open gatsbyconfig.js to add the new Gatsby Source GraphQL plugin and configure the plugin. For the options, we'll give a type name of character and a field name of GOT. Next, we're going to need the AppSync API URL and the API key for the AppSync API. To get this information, open the AWS-exports file that's located in the src directory of your project. For the URL, you can copy the AWS AppSync GraphQL endpoint. For the X API key, you can copy the AWS AppSync API key. Next, we'll launch the project by opening our terminal and running Gatsby develop. If everything is configured properly, the app should compile and you should be given a URL as well as a GraphQL URL. Next, we'll open the GraphQL URL at localhost 8000/___GraphQL. In the query documentation introspection on the right, you should now see a query type of GOT. Let's test our list characters query here, returning the items array with the ID, the name, the description, and the avatar. If this works properly, we'll go back to our project and open pages/index.js. We'll delete some unused boilerplate code, and then we'll import GraphQL from Gatsby to perform our GraphQL query. We'll now export a query using the same query that we used in the graphical editor a few moments ago. In the index page component, the data prop should now have a GOT property available to it. We'll map over the GOT.listCharacters.items array, returning the item avatar, name, and description, and rendering them to the page. When we refresh the app, we should now see the Game of Thrones info render to our screen.